member for O'Connor. No, it's not O'Connor. No, it says member for Hindmarsh.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Deputy Speaker.
I was reading it off here. So.
I support my parliamentary colleague, the member for Cornwall, on this motion today, and I acknowledge the profound impact of the tumultuous events associated in 1974, which have had on the lives of Cypriots, including those who today call Australia home. More than 22,000 Australians of Cypriot ancestry constitute a dynamic community here in Australia, and they've made a significant contribution to the prosperity of our country and our multicultural society. But the resurgence of intercommunal violence in Cyprus in 1974 led to the division of this island, as we know, and it sadly endures to this day. As a good friend of Cyprus, Australia has sought to assist the efforts by the Cypriots themselves and by the international community to reunify Cyprus. This year, we know, marks the 50th anniversary of Australia's continuous contribution to the civilian police component of the United Nations peacekeeping force in Cyprus, which was originally deployed to Cyprus in 1964. Australia was amongst the first countries to contribute to the UN peacekeeping force and is currently the largest contributor to the civilian police component of the force. And as we heard from the member for Cornwall, 15 Australian officers of the Australian Federal Police are currently deployed, and unfortunately over the years 3 Australian police officers have died on duty. The Australian government is proud of the distinction to serve with distinction with the police force that they have served with in Cyprus, and we also support the Cyprus Academic Dialogue, a major bi-communal confidence-building measure and peace-building initiative. As a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, Australia will continue to support constructive efforts to overcome the divisions on the island, including when Cyprus comes before the Council later this month. We welcome the resumption of the fully fledged negotiations made possible earlier this year by the joint declaration by the Greek and Turkish Cypriot leaders, with the assistance of the then Special Advisor to the United Nations Secretary General on Cyprus, Alexander Downer, Australia's former Foreign Affairs Minister. And I thank Mr Downer, who is currently the Australian High Commissioner in London, for his tireless efforts over the past 6 years to assist negotiations with Cyprus. And I've met Alexander and discussed Cyprus with him over the last year or so. The Australian government encourages all parties to display the political will and leadership necessary to engage in current political negotiations to find a comprehensive settlement to the question of Cyprus. Yesterday, I was pleased to attend a very special service here in Canberra with the Cypriot community, which remembered all those who have fought and died for freedom and justice in Cyprus. Also attending were Miss Georgia Alexandrou, who is the President of the Cypriot community here of Canberra, and the High Commissioner of the Republic of Cyprus, Miss Maliotis, who is here in the chamber today, and I thank you for attending. As the High Commissioner said yesterday, at the prayer service, it will help in the strengthening of our own morale and determination to continue our efforts for finding a solution to the Cyprus problem. In closing, I want to say a few words about the Cypriot community in Australia, which is the home to the second largest Cypriot community outside of Cyprus. Since being elected last year, I've been warmly welcomed by the Cypriot community all around Australia, but in particular in my electorate of Hindmarsh. Thanks to Christos Ioannou, the president of his community in South Australia, who I've had the pleasure of attending their Cyprus Cultural Community Centre in Adelaide that was opened in terms of the Cultural Centre earlier this year. And the centre is a wonderful facility which merges the cultural traditions and the language of the Cypriot community, where people of young and old can share activities and share their experiences and their history. It is my hope, as well as the hope of Cypriots in Australia and around the world, that we find a peaceful solution to the Cyprus problem. Such a solution will not only be in the interests of Cyprus, the region, the European community, but also the international community. Finally, as the President of the Republic of Cyprus, Nikos Anastasiades, put it, we seek a solution that will unify the country and safeguard the human rights of all Cypriots, Greek Cypriots, our Turkish Cypriot compatriots, and all lawful Cypriots, irrespective of where they belong, what language they speak, or what religion they believe in. Thank you.